Well, hello there. This is another segment of our YouTube channel for Art Display Essentials. I'm Bill Stender. I'm the owner of artdisplay.com. Today we're going to be talking about one of our stock products, which is called an adjustable wall plate hanger. Now, this has got parts that allow you to wrap around a plate or a platter. What's going to happen here is very often you're going to find these items don't quite fit because there's a lot of shapes and sizes in plate stands. Now what I've got here are two good examples of where we want to modify the plate stand. This is an adjustable wall plate stand hanger. I've got this square glass plate. I'm presently showing it on one of our low profile easels. So it keeps it low to the ground and it's nice and square for this object. The other thing we have here is an art bowl. It's a shallow bowl. You see it's not a typical plate shape. Got lovely iridescence. I'm holding that right now on our 10-inch plate stand. And that gives it a fairly vertical look. Depending on where you're exhibiting it, you could go to one of our platter stands, like a 12 or 14, and it would bring it back a little further. But where I'm showing this at my home, it's up high, so I want to bring it actually a little forward. The problem I have is trying to show these on the wall. Well, this, which is presently made for a 10 to 14 inch plate, it doesn't quite fit. I mean, I can kind of bend it around, but it's not going to work really well, especially with the fact that we have these at an angle for a round plate, and we're trying to fit it onto a square. So we're going to be bending that to fit a square. And then with our larger platter stand, again, it's designed for a plate-like shape. And I want to make this fit on more of a shallow platter shape. So we're going to be doing some pretty intense bending here to make this work. Now, what I'm going to be doing with you today is using a hot plate. And I'm using the hot plate because this is something you can commonly have at home. You have a stove. So you can use an electric stove or a gas stove to make these bends we're doing today. Would we use something like this in an industrial situation? Yeah, sometimes, but we have other options as well. We would also consider using one of these two industrial heat guns. They look like hair dryers, but you'd never want to use these on your hair. These can heat up to 1200 degrees. Now that's even too hot for the acrylic. So this slightly newer unit actually has a temperature adjustment on the back side. I can set this to 350 or 400 degrees and really guarantee that I'm not going to burn my acrylic. This slightly older unit doesn't have that, but it does have these vanes on the side, and by opening or closing them, I can make the heat coming out of here hotter or cooler. The other way we bend things like this from an industrial standpoint, you'll notice we've got two bends here. Other than that, it's straight in between. So what we would do is we'd set up these heat bars, and we'd set them up in such a way that we could make a number of heat points at once. We'd heat all four of these points, and that happens pretty quickly with these heat bars, about 45 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on the thickness of the acrylic, and we take this and bend it around a form quickly. That allows us to produce these efficiently and quickly to keep the price down. What we're going to do today is take this all apart, bend it, fold it out flat, and bend it around a slightly different shaped bowl or riser. So here we go. So I'm getting it up here on this good work height space, and I'm going to be putting on some light cotton gloves. And basically what that's going to allow me to do is handle the hot acrylic. I'm going to be, for lack of a better term, massaging it into place. So the first thing we have to do, and when it comes to heat bending acrylic, When you heat bend acrylic, it forms a new shape to it, but it is plastic. In other words, by reheating this gently, I can bring this back out to a flat shape and start over again. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to basically be starting over. So we're going to start. I'm using a hot plate. If you're doing this in your home, a stove top set on medium to high. Open flames not as good, but it can. You just have to be really careful. You can actually take something like this and put it in a 350-degree oven and totally flatten it. But that's getting a little aggressive because other parts that you don't want to get soft, they're all going to get soft that way. So we want to avoid things like that. You can do this with a candle even if you're just rebending this. But we're going to be opening this whole section up. So I'm going to start by holding this 3 to 4 inches above the hot plate. And it's going to take me a few minutes of just moving it, bringing it. I'm going to be doing both of them because I want to bring them both out to the original shape when they were cut out of the acrylic flat sheet. So this is going to take a couple minutes. All right, so right now we've been doing this for about 3 or 4 minutes now. You can see the acrylic starting to get loose, but I haven't heated this one up enough for it to open up. And ultimately, I'm going to need to heat all the way back to here to make that fairly sharp bend. So I'm just continuing to heat as we go here. Now, as you heat this acrylic, and you can see that starting to open up, its natural inclination is to go back to the shape it was, which is flat. That's where it's, for lack of a better term, happiest. Back in its original cast shape. All our acrylic we use for this type of work is cast acrylic. If you were to use something like an extruded acrylic when you make these things, it's a little more difficult to heat bend, and there's a lot of art conservation reasons for using cast acrylic when we make our art mounts and displays. So we've now gotten this to the point where it's all very plastic and movable, all the way to this point right here, which is a little farther than normal because of the slightly deeper shape of this bowl. That's where my primary bend's going to be. And ultimately, I'm not going to bend these tabs in the first go around here. So here we are, and what we've done here is we've left a good amount for our clips on both sides, and I'm kind of massaging it a little bit. It's hot. Again, this thing is about 300 degrees. So could I touch this with my bare hands? No. But the gloves are helping, and the gloves are actually helping cool it along with the actual glaze, the pottery itself. Another way to cool this is with a damp towel. And when I do some of the next bends, I'll show how that's done. Almost done here. Now I'm actually kind of putting my hand on it purposefully to cool it down, which may sound weird, but our bodies actually are great heat sinks. I can draw a lot of heat out of this acrylic with this cotton covered hand. So here we are. We've gone from this stock bend to this new bend down here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat bend these, or get these both pliable, and I'm going to wrap them around. And that'll be the first part of our project. Okay? Now I'm going to go back and heat them up. We're coming back here now, and I've heated this one ready to bend. I found out that I was having a hard time heating both of them simultaneously, and honestly it would be hard for me to bend and hold two of them at the same time. So we're just going to bend one at a time now. We're going to move back up, and what I've got now is a damp cloth, and that's going to help. It's going to actually speed things up. The shape we have is helping us hold this. And you see now that's got to be held in place until it cools. The damp cloth is actually going to make this go pretty quickly. Again, this isn't sopping wet. And we're done. So now we've got our first bend, and that's hardened. We're going to go back and bend the second one now. All right, so we've spent about 2 minutes again heating this one clip, and you can see now it's pliable. So we're going to move back up here, clipping it in place and wrapping. See how working over an edge in this situation is really good. You can see again I have a towel here. You want to take care of your artwork. So a soft surface to work on, probably over the edge of your counter. I'm working away from myself, which is actually a little bit weird for me, but it's good for you to see what we're doing. But as you can see now, we've got this bent around, it's stiff. And there's enough here to support the piece without being too long. Okay, so I've repositioned the plate, putting another towel under it. It gives me access to the back lip and to the front now, so that I can take the piece that I've bent, now I'm facing it towards me, clip that on, and kind of start sizing up where I want to bend things for the next. I'm taking a look at it. I've got a pretty good idea of where I want to heat my piece up. So let's get started on that. So just by heating this, you can see that slowly open up. That's one of the last pieces we need to get pliable. And then I'm going to heat right back here at this root section here. That's where I'm going to make that bend. So we need to get that pliable so that it fits better on the shallow bowl. Okay, so I've heated all the way back to where we're going to do our first bend. Again, I'm not going to be bending the clips this time. I'm just going to be getting the shape. You want to move over pretty quick, line everything up. Make sure you have enough. I'll have enough for the heat bent clips, and that's looking good. I'm going to get that down into the shape I want, like that. And I'm happy with everything I'm seeing. So now I'm going to cool that off a little bit with my damp towel. And just again, holding that with the damp towel against the cool porcelain is going to cool everything off and get that shape that I want for this shallow bowl shape. I'm happy with the shape we've got here. Again, we've got our 2 tabs. So now what we're going to do pretty quickly is one at a time, we're going to rebend these tabs. Okay, so I've got this soft now, you can see. I can bend that, but it still is going to flip back to its original shape. It feels good enough for me, like it's not going to break. So here we go. That's feeling good. Feels like it's good length. So now I'm going to hold that with the damp towel. Okay, we're going to do our final one. Okay, our last clip is nice and flexible now. Here we go. Again, clipping that back clip on where it's going to finally land, clip my third clip on, and bend, and hold. It takes a little bit of force to hold that acrylic in the correct shape while it's cooling. The acrylic itself wants to be flat. You have to kind of force it back into this shape. It's not a lot of pressure, but when you get to that little end, you don't have a lot of leverage on anything. If I were to do this wrong, I would simply go back over there to that hot plate and start over again. The other thing that can go wrong is I can get too close to the hot plate. And I've been doing this type of work for 35 years, but I'll show you right here. I got a little bit too close to the hot plate. So I got little bubbles, and actually you can see a little defect right there. I actually touched the hot plate. Nothing blew up, nothing burst into flames. But they're imperfections, they're not structural. So they're going to be fine, especially since they're on the back. So I've got this all done now. It's cooled off, and I'm going to put my last screw in, and we'll see how we did. Now again, we've got this nice kind of ability to slide back and forth these adjustable wall stands. Okay. So here we are, everything's tight, and now we've got the shape properly made on the back, and on the front we just have those clips showing. This will hold this on a wall, and I'll be able to show it off on a wall mount, standing. And we'll show you some pictures of these hanging on walls at the end of the video. So here's our finished product. I took it off of the bowl, and I wanted to do that to show you how far we've come. Here we have our standard plate stand or platter stand for the wall mount and the newly bent one. Now let's go on to the other square plate. Okay, so the next project is a square plate. Now the plate's going to be using our smaller 10 to 14 inch adjustable wall plate stand. And some of the things we're going to discuss here are overall shape. A problem why this doesn't fit well is because this is designed for a round plate, but we're dealing with square. So as I look at this and I look at the back, some of the things I'm seeing aren't so bad. Yeah, that's not touching right here, but it's presenting a flat shape, which will help make it hang better. So overall, as I'm considering what I'm going to do here, I think I'm just going to rebend the clips. So I can do one at a time in pretty much one shot. So we're going to, again, kind of prop this up in such a way I can work that bottom edge. I can still see it. Would I be doing this away from myself? Not normally. I'd probably be doing it towards myself. So we're going to heat up one at a time and bend. So as we're working on this heat bending this clip, it's going to open up a little bit quicker for us. The last video that we did was for the larger platter stand, and that's made with a thicker acrylic. This is only 1/8 inch acrylic, so things are going to bend and heat up for us a little bit quicker. So you've already got that pliable and ready to go. I'm going to clip that top clip around. I'm going to put that other clip where I'm happy with it. It'll kind of be my placeholder. And then I'm going to bend that clip around. That looks good. I'm happy with that. Kind of of got to eyeball everything at the same time. Things move. You want to hold things the way it wants to be at the end. Again, I'm bending, I'm holding. Thinner material, it's cooling on me faster. Matter of fact, that's already done. So now we're going to move on to the second clip. So you see how that just opened right up on us. The whole thing is ready to go. Now I'm working off of 2 points, so I already kind of know where I want things to be. And we're going to move over again pretty quickly. Position everything where I want it to be. Wrap that around. The glass is doing a good job of being a heat sink here. The things are moving quicker now. That's almost cool already. I'll just grab my damp towel, give everything a little hug, check where I want to be, and we're in good shape. So now, hold this. I'm going to tighten my 2 screws, and we're going to take a look at where we're at. So now, we've made a mount that holds this odd-shaped square plate. Clips are a little bit longer, but they're safe. The shape itself, being curved in both directions, actually centers this fairly nicely. So we're in good shape, and we've made a nice wall mount. One of the nice attributes is, I don't know if you can see, but this section here is translucent. The clear acrylic on the back side pretty much becomes invisible through that translucent area. Again, we'll post a picture of this at the end so you can see how it looks. I want to discuss one more thing about this. You probably sat through this whole video, and at the end you might go, still not for me. I'm not comfortable doing this. The other option is you can send us your artwork. Art Display Essentials are trained professionals in the art of mounting custom artwork and making these mounts, modifying our standard mounts, or even going and making an entirely custom mount. You might have something that doesn't fit any of these shapes. Contact us. We're going to have some contact information at the bottom. Send us images. Give us your particular problem. We can find a solution for you. It could be off the shelf. It could be something like we've talked here, where we've modified an off-the-shelf product, or we could be discussing an entirely custom mount for your piece of art. So here we are with the final stage. It's completed, and we're going to be hanging it on a wall over here. We're using one of the Ook brand hooks that you can also get at artdisplay.com. And there we go. So this is a nice addition to our collection here. Thank you for watching the video. And if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to contact us at artdisplay.com. And don't forget to go to our website. Looking forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.